Hello, friends. It took a few
Hey
minutes to
there.
get started. Sorry about that. But we are here and we are ready to talk about some knitting. Um, as you
What?
can
We're
see.
we're
Oh,
doing what?
yeah. No,
Huh?
did I forget to tell you? We're a
Heck.
Oh,
knitting show.
oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh.
All right, I'm here for you.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, we do have a couple of blank spaces tonight. Life kind of got in the way for all of us all at once. Things like that happen. It's cool. But that means that we're not actually going to play the game tonight because it doesn't seem fair to leave half of our team out of all of the fun. Because, boy, we have fun planned. I made a map and everything. I'm really excited about it. So, but that's okay. We are here tonight and we're going to talk some knitting. So we will start like we always do with what are we working on? Who wants to go first?
Okay, I could go first because it'll be quick. I'll just poke it up a little bit. I'm working on a design deadline, so I can't really talk about it much. But uh, be on the lookout in January for a new pattern from me that should be
Ooh.
coming out. So
I'm excited.
so yes, I'm excited, and I completely redid the design last week. So well, not completely. Things changed, but as a result, I am a week behind my sample knitting than I expected to be, and the deadline has not moved. So,
Yeah,
so
that happens.
that's what I am doing like all my time on right now.
Gotcha.
That's what I got.
All right. How about you, friend?
So, like I said to Greg before we started streaming, the experience of learning how to work on this specific project makes me feel a little bit like a kindergartner. who has been, learning how to do new finger paint techniques and all that sort of thing, and running up with the project and holding it up to like artists and being like, look at the thing I did.
Aw.
Can it go on the refrigerator?
I would put your art on the refrigerator.
Yes,
any
it can.
day.
It can absolutely go on the fridge.
So, like, I have been flooding our specific Discord channel with pictures of this scarf that has been in progress for the last couple of weeks, and I laid it out on the living room floor earlier today and got out the long ruler, and it measured in when I measured it, which was a few hours ago. So, things have changed, but it measured in laying flat at exactly 5 feet.
Nice.
Very
So
nice.
I've got about a foot left that I want to do to finish it, and then put fringe on it. And yeah,
I'm so excited.
actually like do the thing.
Yay.
It may also get bigger if you block it.
That's true.
Mm.
Yeah, blocking will
That's
make things
fair.
grow.
A little bit.
But
I'm
we're
just
gonna
gonna toddle on past that.
How about blocking can make things grow?
Sure.
It
Sure.
doesn't have to.
Cool. Got it.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of stuff to show you because the big thing that I've been working on is now gone. It has left my house. It has left the country. It
Ooh.
traveled home with my parents. I finished the third and final bed blanket for my nieces. So
Oh.
that's what they're getting for Christmas. I hope they're not listening, but well, whatever, if they are.
Surprise!
Surprise!
I don't have any pictures to show you because it's in Canada, so I can't hold it up or anything.
I mean, I'm sure I reasonably feel like you could throw things at your mom and be like, hi, can you take a picture, please?
Oh, yeah. No, she absolutely would. And I did take a picture before I sent it, but it's not here anymore, but it was big. I had started this particular blanket in September of 2014.
Oh.
And it has hibernated off and on a lot. And I was using mill ends that I bought in 2004-ish. So the yarn in this blanket is older than the kit it's going to.
What are mill ends?
Mill ends are basically when you have like a commercially manufactured yarn and they make the normal little balls of yarn. They have a little bit left that isn't quite a full ball of yarn. And what they will often do is they'll still like mount it on the machines and it'll just stop winding early because it ran out of yarn. They throw a bunch of those into a bag because they're the end that the mill has produced. So they are
So same quality yarn.
Yeah.
Just you have no idea necessarily
much it
how long it is before it stops.
Yeah. And
You can
these
weigh
ones-
it.
Yeah. These ones
You can weigh it, but that's cheating.
well, these ones came in 1 pound bags.
Mm.
So I used 2 pounds of yarn for this blanket. And I
Wow.
still have 2 pounds left because when I started buying yarn for blankets, when I started getting back into knitting again, I was very bad at estimating how much I would need. And very bad at estimating how many stitches to cast on. What really got me back into knitting was my first year of university. I was sitting in the student center and I was cold. And I wanted a blanket. So I thought, I will just go across, like, you had to go through the skywalks, but you could get to the Bay, which was a major department store.
Mm.
And I thought, I'll just go to the Bay and I'll buy a blanket. And I'll keep it in my locker and that'll be my school blanket. It'll be great. And I got there and I'm like, holy crap, I forgot that stores are expensive. Like, okay, I'll go down to the basement where they've got a little clearance type section. Well, also in the basement, they had an in-store mini store of Lewis Craft, which is no longer open, but it used to be like a fairly major craft store. And I walked over there and I'm like, wait, I can spend like $60 on a blanket, or I can buy this ball of yarn for $10. and some knitting needles, and I'll just knit myself a blanket because I know how to knit.
It's like a blanket, some assembly required.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, and that's fine. It'll keep me busy. I'll keep
It's
it
an
at
IKEA
schools.
blanket.
It is. It's an IKEA
I
blanket.
love that.
So I bought one of those like big, the size of like the Pound of Love giant balls of yarn. I bought one of those in this like tweedy charcoal gray that has little colorful flecks throughout it. I'm like, okay, this is going to be great. And I'll get big needles so that I can just like, it'll be bulky and I'll cast it on. It'll go real fast. I have that blanket still. There are tons of drop stitches because I was knitting it in the student center and carting it around, and stitches were constantly falling off because I cast on way too many. It is too wide for my king size bed.
I guess you need a bigger bed.
Yeah. Basically, I fold it in half and I keep it like on the couch. And like I've picked up stitches over the years and it's holding up really well, but it took me like my entire tenure at the university to finish knitting the damn thing because I knit it bigger than a king size bed because I didn't pay attention to how many stitches I was casting. I'm just like, yeah, this feels like enough. It'll be fine. Oh gosh.
Now, okay, so to be fair, if you're going to estimate incorrectly, I feel it's better to go big than
Yes.
small.
It's true.
Although because I was making a blanket for myself, if I had gone small, it could have just been a shawl. And it also would have kept me warm.
Stop with the logic.
Shh, shh. That's logic. Just no, does not
None of that.
belong.
You're not in university anymore. None of that.
I am. I have learned my lesson. I swatch sometimes now. Sometimes.
Magic.
Sometimes. Well,
Okay.
I also have knit enough to have an idea of what my gauge is on most things anyway. So if I'm going to knit a blanket, I can pull one of my other blankets. And I have records in Ravelry, and I can say, okay, I knit this on these needles, and it's a worsted weight. I can guess much more accurately how many stitches to use. I've learned my lesson, mostly.
Experience
Oh,
experience will
you.
do that to you.
It will. But it got me knitting. I knit every day for like 4 friggin' years to finish that damn blanket.
That's cool.
So, and the only time I stopped knitting on it was to pick up crochet because I did the same sort of thing because I am a glutton for punishment. I was working on my thesis and I decided that I wanted something to work on while I was waiting for the water fleas to acclimate to their water. Because my thesis was studying the effects of UV radiation on Daphnia magna, which are little water fleas, and you had to put them in the giant water tank and let them get used to the water before you could start running the experiment. And you had to wait like a half hour. So I bought some yarn and I crocheted myself a thesis blanket. And it was just individual squares, and I could do a square in the time it took for the water flea to accommodate to the water. So,
I'm sure you've heard this before, but I'm going to say it anyway. You are one of the most fascinating people that I know.
yay!
100%. Yes. I joked about not knowing this was knitting when we started. I did not know it was water fleas also. That is true. I was prepared for the knitting. I was not prepared for water fleas.
Oh, one of these days I'll show you the pictures of the goldfish that went along with that experiment. Those are very cool.
Okay. I'm excited.
I love it.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
But all of that to somehow get back to, I don't have a whole lot because I was working on that blanket and it's gone. But I have been working on a pair of house socks for my mom.
Hey.
And these are just out of, I don't remember what yarn this is. I'm sure I've got the ball band somewhere. But this is for the class that I'm teaching at my local yarn shop on how to knit 2 at a time socks. Toa.
Ah, yes, the witchcraft.
Yes. And so I've got the little foot form. It's going to be socks for mom.
Oh.
So I just have to knit to, I don't know, somewhere. I won't give away all the secret sauce, but I'm working on those. And I am almost finished the socks that I started when I went to GooseCon. So I've got, gotta pull out the heels because I always like to tuck them away. But I've got feet, I've got ankles, and I'm about to start on the ribbing at the top. And then they'll be done.
That's
I
amazing.
love the pattern the yarn is making on that.
It's
Yes,
so
it's
pretty.
so
It's very it's
cool.
very Aurora Borealis.
It is. And of course, it's different on each sock, but that's fine.
I love
pulling
that.
one from the inside, one from the outside. Because I do my socks 2 at a time. Because that's just how I roll. It makes my life easier.
No second sock syndrome there.
That is true. It takes a little bit longer, but when I'm done, I have 2 socks. So it works for me. What else do we... Oh, so you probably see... Is it to this side? Yes, to this side of me. The giant new logo for Fantasy Fiber Arts. We have a new featured friend this month. This arc, since we're starting something new. And we are featuring Fantasy Fiber Arts. And I will make sure that I put links to where you can get the yarn. She is a dyer who is local to me. She's really cool. And I've knit a couple of other things from her yarn. The original Bag of Sorting was knit in her yarn. And I bought this.
It's lovely.
Pretty.
It is called Werewolf. I love the colors.
Of course, yeah.
Werewolf.
And at our local yarn shop, she has done a kit, an advent calendar of yarn, all based on Johnny Depp movies. So I am trying really hard not to buy it because it just sounds like it's going to be fun. And I really like her color sense too. It goes well with me.
I would be fascinated by it because I've watched a lot of the old Johnny Depp movies because there was a time in my life where I would just go and find the weird and obscure ones. So like Edward Scissorhands, Crybaby, Benny and June.
Yeah.
From Hell, Ninth Gate, which was really bad, but I watched it anyway.
Yeah. Well, if I do get it, then I will be sharing those on my Instagram. And she also has an Instagram, Fantasy Fiber Arts. And yeah, go check her out. And we will be, at least I will be knitting with her stuff, and the rest of us probably will as well. So that is our new featured friend.
Yay.
And we don't have a featured designer this time, and that's fine. But I did want to say that if anyone is interested, Knitpicks does their 12 weeks of giving, where they give away free patterns for the 12 weeks leading up to Christmas. I think we're on week 7?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds way too close, but I think that's what it is. But you can also get past week's patterns. You don't have to be right on top of it. So if you are looking for some cute free patterns, check out knitpicks.com and search for that. I think that's all the administrative stuff this time. But we had promised to talk about some blocking because with the scarf just about done, you're going to want to do that. So you don't have to block everything.
Okay.
Blocking works best on natural fibers. Acrylic fibers don't really block that well. That's why a lot of acrylic stuff is just toss it in the washer and the dryer, because it is what it is, and it's just going to be what it is.
I am what I am.
I am what I am.
Right.
But animal fibers tend to have some memory to them, and you can influence that memory when you block them. So that's why, like, we laid out your sweater flat in the right sweater shape for it to dry. Because if you don't, it's just going to dry in whatever shape it happens to be in. And that can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Especially with things like sweaters, I like to make sure that I pull the sleeves to the right width. Because if you lay them out and you stretch out the arms, and they are these tiny, skinny little narrow tubes,
Spaghettis.
it's not so fun to get your arms into them. You can do it, but it really sucks. And that's
Yeah.
what we meant by things can grow when you block them. So you can pull them longer and they'll get a little skinnier. You can pull them wider and they'll get a little shorter.
I find, of course, blocking is essential for lace work
Yes.
because, yeah. So when you're talking, you don't have to block everything, but you do have to block lace. Otherwise, it just looks like a blob.
It really does.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So the yarn that I'm working with, I just looked it up, is 25% yak, 50% wool, and 25% acrylic. Is this something that I could block, or is that
Yes.
too much acrylic?
Nope, that is going to
Nope.
be just fine.
Blocking will make it. Blocking will be a happy thing for it.
Okay.
It will be happy that you block it.
Yes.
I would just recommend don't stretch it out too much, because then it, like for the project you're working on, that would stretch it out probably thinner than you want a scarf.
Sure.
But like when I do a shawl, like a lace shawl, I will stretch the hell out of it to really open up,
Yeah.
that those lace pattern work
gorgeous
and
lace,
everything like that. Yeah. So I really stress my blocking needles and blocking mats. A lot of tensile force on it, basically. Just,
Well, this is probably a good one for me to learn blocking on if it doesn't
it's great.
require that much extra scary words.
and it's a rectangle, as
That does
opposed
help.
to a difficult shape, right? You're doing all the right things.
Yay!
So the other thing that blocking will do is sort of just relax all of the stitches and help them sort of just fall a little bit nicer.
Sure, because right now it's curling in on itself a lot.
Yep. And that's part of the nature of the stitch that you're doing,
Mhm.
where one side is always all knit. But that's something that blocking can help with a bit. So I like to use blocking mats, but my blocking mats aren't, I didn't buy them from a place that called them blocking mats. I bought them
Me either.
from a home store that called them floor mats for children.
I bought mine at Babies R Us.
Yep. And I actually found some that I kind of want to get from Sam's Club. My parents and I went shopping, and they have them, and they're the big squares, but they're also joined on the diagonal. So you can pull them and have two triangles. I'm like, that would be amazing for all of the triangle shawls that I do. So I might go back and get some of those.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But
I would like to subscribe to that newsletter.
yeah, I know,
Yes.
right?
Very much.
I absolutely, if you can make it happen, get some sort of foamy blocking mat.
Like a
Just-
dense foam.
yeah, a dense foam. You
So
can,
like a camping mat type of thing, or thicker than that?
I'm trying to think of what a camping mat is. That's more like a squishy foam.
Uh-huh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you guys vamp for a second. I have one right next door. I'm gonna go grab
All
it.
right.
Fantastic.
Yes. So like I said, I got mine at a baby store, because they're like what you would put down in a playroom for kids, and one side's got like the alphabet on them and stuff like that.
Okay, so it is what I was thinking.
Okay. All right. Okay. Excellent. And so I turn them over on the other side, because it's a little easier to stick the pins in, because that's the other thing when you're blocking. Sometimes, like with a sweater or larger, bigger things, you might not need to pin it down when you're stretching out. If you can just like push it out like you need to, and then it'll dry, whatnot. And with blocking, you wet it. You wet your, you do it wet, and then but yeah. So then with the pins, being able to stick the pins into a blocking mat will help, keep it. And there you go. Danny's got one.
Aha! It is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's thick. It's not really like open foam. It's very solid,
Dense.
dense.
Yeah.
But that's
That's big. That mine are about a foot square. Yeah. So
yeah. So you can get them in all different colors and different sizes. Depends on where you get them. Lots of knitting stores will sell them as blocking mats.
and they'll be twice as expensive.
Yes.
But a lot of times they will have grid lines on them,
enough.
and rulers and things like that. So that can be helpful. I don't find it to be twice as expensive helpful. But
we have an Ernest, a Hollow, coming into the chat. So I'm actually going to switch us to the be right back screen so that I can fix the
Be right
cameras real
back.
quick. So hang on, folks. We'll be right back. We're back, and we have Hollow. Yay!
Yay!
So, sorry about that. We were talking about blocking and the joys of
Blocking.
blocking and all the fabulous things that it does. And right, so we showed you the mat.
Yes.
And did we talk about pins?
No.
So I like to pin all of my stuff, whether it's I pin everything when I'm blocking, and I have a bajillion pins, but I use these little T-pins.
Oh, okay. They're like wig pins.
Yeah, very much like that. And I just I keep mine in an old prescription bottle because
Nice.
I'm classy like that. But hey, it works.
I do
Good place
have
to put 'em.
a suggestion. I do have a suggestion on the pins. Make sure that they won't rust,
Yes, that is very
Big-
important.
because that will allow you to dye your finished project unintentionally in ways that you don't want to dye the yarn after the
Oh, I hadn't
fact.
even thought about that.
So-
Stainless steel. That's what you want.
But you
Stainless
can get
steel,
those
okay.
at like any craft store. In the quilting section, often will have them.
I think I've stepped on a couple of those.
Yep, that will happen.
It seems likely.
There are other fancy things you can get. Like I have the Knitter's Pride knit blocker set.
I have those. I love them.
And they're fantastic. So it's this little thing that has get one out. It's basically a pointy comb full of pins. But it's great for long stretches of straight things that you need to pin, like the top of a scarf or the top of a shawl where you just want it all even all the way across. They've got 2 different sizes.
Yeah, I have been combating my dog and yarn, so I purchased a yarn spooler on Amazon. I'm waiting for that to get here
Nice.
because the dog my dog has some separation anxiety, and I went to the store and I forgot to put him in the room with my partner. So he found some yarn and said, "I'm going to be naughty because I have no attention," and he's unspooled it everywhere. I'm like, dog.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand that. I was sitting in this chair knitting this scarf and heard like a smack 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 sound next to me and looked down and my damn cat was chewing through the yarn. And I did not catch it before he had basically chewed all the way through the yarn.
Oh,
At which point I had to
no.
do like a new join, which I mean, fortunately, that was like the 4th time that I've done that. So I'm relatively comfortable with that now. But I was just like,
Okay.
my dude.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, animals are rude.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How dare you be paying attention to the thing in your lap that is not me?
Well, that's why it's so convenient that I was knitting well before I got the puppies. And from day one, I made sure that I was knitting around them and had like yarn around and made sure they knew not to play with it. This is not a toy. You have all of these other things. This is not a toy. And so now Molly will lay in my lap and there'll be yarn like draped across her face and a sweater down her butt. And she's just laying there. She doesn't care.
That's
So,
adorable.
It is amazing. I love it. But yeah, it helped very much to be exposing them to the yarn from forever.
Nope. Griddle just does. I mean, he's good until he's not.
Griddle do what Griddle want.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think I brought it on myself naming the dog Griddle because I just got done reading Gideon the
Gideon.
Ninth. Yeah. God damn it, Griddle!
Have you read Nona yet?
I have. I read that immediately. Like.
I have not. Is it as good as the other two?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some shit comes out. Ooh.
Okay. Well, I will have to add that to my list. Trying to think
Yeah,
of
I've
things-
actually stopped the book I was reading to read Nona the Ninth. I was in the middle of reading Lindsay Ellis's Axiom's End. And I was like, oh, I'm 5 hours away, but I gotta start Nona right now.
Sometimes you gotta.
How is tangenting a bit? How are her books?
This is the first book of hers I've read. I really enjoy this book in particular. I mean, it wasn't Nona the Ninth, but like, I mean, it was a new book I was excited for, and it was an audiobook I needed to start immediately. But I am a fan of this book. I also just finished Priory of the Orange Tree by Shannon. No, that's not right. Name.
I know which one you're talking about because I'm still in all of the book chats, but I'm not. I haven't read it.
Samantha Shannon. That's
Mhm.
okay. And that's a really interesting book. Kind of a very feminine, like Elric saga, which I'm kind of about,
Okay.
And I'm always saying good things about the Craft series by Max Gladstone. I can never say enough good things about that series.
Nice. Oh, as I look down, I brought another blocking thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, rods.
Blocking wires are
What?
the best. So
Oh my gosh.
this is not something you need for blocking your sweater or your scarf rather. I mean, I suppose you could use them, but you don't need them. But
Well,
That probably falls under the word overkill.
yes.
the shawl recommends them.
Yes.
It says they aren't necessary.
They are fantastic. So they're flexible wires, and I use them all the time for blocking shawls, especially when I want to block the crap out of something.
Mhm.
Because you thread this, just weave it in and out through the stitches along the edge,
Mhm.
and then you can pull and stretch the whole thing, and you don't have lots of weird extra little points from where you're putting in individual needles. Like you can get a really
Oh.
nice curve.
Really helps with the shaping.
Yeah.
And if you're doing individual needles, you'll find that you pull one down and block it, and then you pull the next one down, and then the first one is too loose, so you have to pull it
Mm.
again, or whatever. and then you get all the way to the end, and then all of them were too tight, so I can't get this one down as much as it's.
Yeah.
If you're doing lace shawls, especially,
Blocking wires are fantastic.
they're not required, but they should be.
Yeah. They're not required, but you're going to appreciate them.
Right.
Okay.
Well worth it.
Blocking wires.
Yeah.
And I have heard of people getting them from welding supply stores, as
interesting.
well as
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah, as well as like your knitting supply stores. So again, like going to a baby store to get blocking mats, go to a welding supply store, get blocking wires at a discount, at not a premium that a knitting store thing. But you need to make sure again that it's not going to rust, and you're getting the right stuff, and it has to be strong enough, and that you won't break it, things like that. So
yeah,
I just got mine from a knit store.
I'm thinking that the hardware store is doing okay, and even if I am paying a premium, I'm supporting a store that's probably much smaller.
I like the way you're thinking.
So what else? Oh, I wanted to talk about knitting jewelry because
Yes,
we did. I did share that picture not too long ago of using my rings as stitch markers because
Right.
I needed
What you had.
something. That's what I had. But
Gosh.
I have since wisened up and have started wearing some of my knit jewelry. So I have this pendant that I made just
Ooh.
out of pieces at I think I got mostly at Joanne, but it's just a big old thing. But this is a little what are these rings called that open? But these are all stitch markers. But I did them all themed. I actually made this one up when I was very, very deep into Critical Role lore from Campaign 2. So it's all Caduceus themed. So there's
wonderful.
like teacups and plants and the tree. And so it's all themed and it goes well together. But then on my wrist, I have a charm bracelet. And all of the charms are little clippy stitch markers. Because, yeah, sometimes you need more than just the rings and the earrings that you have.
I mean, that's so smart. It's also hysterical.
So I've got, like, tons of different stitch markers that I've made. So I've got, like, a stapler on there and a lemon and umbrellas and the Eiffel Tower. I've got a Skechers shoe because why not?
Was the staplers because you like the movie Office Space or a different reason?
Maybe.
Ah! Yes, that is a film that I have seen for those who have been adding to my list. I appreciate it. I have seen that one.
Yeah, I realized after I gave you a whole pile for the list that those are all, like, the same trope. But that's fine.
I mean, that's
If it's
the
a good
thing.
trope.
That's the thing I've noticed about people who give like film recommendations, because your brain will immediately blank when asked, what's your favorite movie that you've seen? It's like asking you to say a sentence in your native language, and your brain is just like,
I know many sentences. Which one should I choose?
Basically, yeah.
That's one. That's the one.
Exactly. But your brain just sort of locks down. And so like we were talking about video films at work yesterday, because I asked friends of mine, if you had to recommend like quintessential movies, what would you recommend? And as Thomas pointed out, a lot of them were 80s action films that the boys were offering, which tracks, but also, but yeah. And people find a trope or a genre and their brain sticks in that. Like I was writing something down and I was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen a lot of other Robin Williams movies, for example. So, I haven't seen Jumanji. I haven't seen
either.
The Dreams May Come. I haven't seen Dead Poets Society. I have seen Hook and I love it. I haven't seen Mrs. Doubtfire. I hear I'm going to be annoyed about some of the illegalities and the not great handling of various sensitive issues, but also it was the 90s, so
yeah, it was.
It's a movie of its time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's some movies I just can't go back and watch anymore, like Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah.
Like what? Sorry.
Ace Ventura.
Oh.
Yeah. that was one that I watched once, and that was that.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I realize that the movies that I listed are a lot of the same storyline as the books I've been reading lately. Yeah, it's fine. Clearly, I have a type, and I like it, and it works.
Nothing wrong with that.
My type is sprawling space opera
Nice.
or weaponized bureaucracy.
Oh.
That's an interesting one.
That's an interesting spread.
I like it.
The weaponized bureaucracy in a space opera.
Yes, actually, there's a book. There's a series of books by Yoon Ha Lee called Machineries of Empire, and it's about it's like a take on colonialism using calendars as your tool of domination.
Interesting.
That
Because-
actually makes a lot of sense too.
Yep. If
With
you
how
take-
calendars have been in history.
Yeah, if you take away people's holy days or their their worship days or things that are important to them, then you can dominate their culture. And the entire empire works on a calendar system so tight that that not adhering to the calendar could cause like heretical damage to the empire.
Wow.
Right.
So yeah, weaponized bureaucracy.
Yes. So what was that that again? I want to write that one down.
Yeah, so the series is called Machineries of Empire by Yoon Ha Lee. The first book is Nine Fox Gambit. A lot of fox imagery in the book too. So
Thank you. You might have just given me my fishing trip reading. So
Hey.
Nice. Well,
yeah, excellent books. And the craft sequence by Max Gladstone is also weaponized bureaucracy. That's kind of like a very interesting take on like the vagary, the dark vagaries of capitalism, in a very well done modern fantasy setting.
I gotta say, I'm not reading as much right now as I would like to, but I'm also, once again, trying to do NaNoWriMo. So that's taking away
Yeah.
some of my reading time and replacing it with writing time.
I have done only a little. I wrote 2 flash stories, and you know what? That's good, for me, because like most years, I just kind of say I'm gonna nano, and then I don't because
the big no I nano.
Yeah, I get that. I got 500 words in the first couple of hours, and I have not touched it since. I swear this story is cursed. Maybe it's
Oh.
because my brain doesn't want to touch like quarantine stuff.
Yeah, that could
man.
But I really want to do this.
There are so many stories about like quarantine and pandemics that like just happen to come out like right as the pandemic started.
Yeah.
be.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, my partner was working on a play that was about a quarantine that happened. And she was like, I've been working on this for years before the pandemic started.
That is how
But now everyone is going to think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how all these authors were on their blogs. Like I've been working on this for like 4 years, and now
Everyone.
Son of a bitch.
Yep. Well, I outsourced my ideas this year, so it's interesting. It is not a story that I would have picked, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's not characters that I necessarily would have. Somehow, I'm writing about a football player, and I don't know the football.
I love that. I love that you've stuck with that too.
Wait, so point of clarification: U.S. football
Yes.
or soccer?
U.S. football.
Okay.
Yeah, the story starts with two college roommates, and one is a journalism student, and one is a physical activity and sports studies guy who is there on a football scholarship and is playing football all the time. And they are coming up on their final year, and journalism guy is going to probably go to grad school and be journalism guy, and football player is like, well, I'm not quite good enough to be in the NFL, so I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And it's fine. They're having some fun working through life,
Like you do.
like you do. But theoretically, the story's going to follow them for several years. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I wish you nothing but great success on this endeavor.
Indeed.
I did it 1 year, I won, and I haven't tried again. So
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm exactly the opposite. I used to do it every year, and I've won many years in a row. I've only finished a story twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I decided to really try to go in and do some things. I need a palate cleanser. One book I did read this year or recently was The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I've heard about that book. I've heard it's very good, and also very like, ouch, I am in this picture and I don't like it.
Yeah, that's was pretty much the 18 hours of the book. Doing it. Doing the audio book, just like, oh, there's me. Also, 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 that's not me, but that's messed up, and it just, whoo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually picked up a bunch of books not yesterday, day before yesterday. I walked down to City Hall where there's a ballot drop box, because I like taking that walk, and it's right next to a used bookstore. So I walked down there and then went hunting for books to reward myself for my civic duty,
There you go.
and discovered that Stephen King has written a lot more since the last time I checked in with the man.
I mean,
And I'm just over here like, could you not? I'm trying. Okay.
When are they not?
Seriously. And a new Elemental Masters by Mercedes Lackey just came out. Yeah, it's another in the Sherlock series, because several of her Elemental Masters books have been Sherlock Holmes and John and Mary Watson.
Nice. Oh,
So I mean, obviously I have to get them. It's required.
well, of course. I am still working my way through the absolute mountain of books that I bought at last year's used book sale. Well, this spring's used book sale. I what was it? It was like 120 books or something, and I spent like $12.
Wow.
Stupid. Like, it was very little money for a very lot of books.
Were you buying them by like $1 a box?
Pretty close. They were like 25 cents each. But I was
Sheesh.
shopping on the last day of the book sale where everything was half price.
you were buying them by the pound.
Basically.
You came and said, I would like 17 pounds of books, please.
Yeah, well, someone was clearing up their entire Harlequin collection,
Ah.
and I bought it. I bought it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, whenever Ellis gets around to some of the books around here, someone is gonna walk away with like armfuls of mystery books.
Nice.
I'm lobbying to keep the Agatha Christie here because
Yeah.
I love Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
I have quite a bit of Agatha Christie on my shelf.
I'm just looking. I've still got books from my grandpa that I want to sit down and read again. I read them probably younger than I needed to be reading some of the stuff.
That's fair.
He for a while had subscribed to the Reader's Digest condensed books.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a whole set of those like faux leather bound 4 or 5
Right.
books in a volume, and at least one of them was made into a TV movie starring Sally Fields. So,
Oh,
good traumatic stuff that a 10-year-old should probably read. Yeah. It's
It's always
fine.
fun when. Go ahead.
No, I was I was stuck in the room all summer with nothing to read until I found a box full of romance novels. So shit happens.
You read what you gotta. That was actually how I first read Stephen King. Was I was working a really boring summer job, and there were 2 Stephen King books on the little library shelf in the back room, The Shining and The Gunslinger,
Okay.
which very definitely set the tone for what I like about King.
Yeah. I can see that.
And it's also why I haven't seen The Shining. That's Stanley Kubrick directed, because I know for a fact that Stephen King hates that movie.
Yeah, if the author doesn't like something that they've done with his work, you probably don't want to watch it.
But I
don't know.
I do want to watch it because it was so groundbreaking in so many like cinematography ways.
Yeah.
But as an adaptation, Jack Nicholson was just always a bit insane, and it kind of isn't the story, from what I understand, of the main character being driven insane, being a normal person who made mistakes, being driven insane by the hotel.
Yeah, I having loved both the book and the movie, that is accurate.
Well, and I also can totally see why Stephen King hates it in specific, because like the main character just is him. Like a writer who had a lot of substance abuse issues and felt very guilty for how he treated his family, and he's like he I'm sure there's a part of his brain that was like, okay, but there are some extenuating circumstances. I'm not insane from the beginning.
Like, come on, Stan, don't do this to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, there's a part of me that's like, well, if the author doesn't like it, maybe I really should give it a look. There's something to be said about, a piece drawing out things that, are different from the author's vision. And I think that's, worth seeing. Now, if a movie's objectively bad, I mean, what the hell are you going to do?
If a movie's objectively bad, I at least want it to be bad enough to be funny.
Right.
Like Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
Oh no.
That's good, and it pairs well with Velocipaster.
Oh, yeah. I have to rewatch for next week's That's Pretty Crafty, Thanksgiving.
Gobble gobble, motherfucker.
Yes! I love that you know that. That makes me
I'm
so
like,
happy.
my daughter's in the next room. I gotta watch what I say.
Say nice and quiet. So
Itty bitty little swears, just
I,
the teeny
um,
little swears.
I watched that movie. God, it must have been probably a decade ago now. But I watched it with my friend Colby, and I can see his face, but I can't remember his name. But that's fine. There were 3 of us watching it, and we decided that we were going to live tweet our reactions as we were watching it. So we're doing it. We're hashtagging Thanksgiving, and the turkey has a Twitter account
Like a bot.
and was replying to us.
Yes.
I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to watch that again so that we can talk about it. I don't think DB is very impressed with it.
You should live tweet it again as you're rewatching it and be like,
Should.
I'm gonna take a second stab at this.
Yep.
Pun very much intended.
And there are 2 sequels and apparently a musical.
Of course there is.
I know. So I'm
There's a
also going to
musical?
have to. Yeah, there was a musical apparently. So I'm going to be doing some YouTube digging to see if I can find Thanksgiving the musical.
Wow.
Because yeah,
It's been about 10 years since I saw it with my wife and her brother. At her parents' house at Thanksgiving one year. It was delightful.
yeah, it was.
Absolutely delightful.
Oh man, yeah, it's terrible, but that's fine. It's terrible in the best way.
Yes.
So yeah, that should be fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I can get the Studio Cast CD from Amazon of Thanksgiving of the musical.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find that somewhere to listen to, because I'm just curious about what they're gonna do with it. I mean, Evil Dead the musical turned out really good, so maybe Thanksgiving is amazing.
But Evil Dead the musical had good source material.
Oh, that's another one.
All right, one of
This
the
is just a rubber turkey that kills things.
one of the songs is called "Boobies."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Oh gosh. Oh, yep. Yep. This is gonna be quite the dive.
Well, when the Thanksgiving season completes and you start rolling into like the Christmas season, I highly recommend Jack Frost in the same vein. Not the one with Michael Keaton.
Okay.
The one that is like Thanksgiving with a
Alright.
snowman.
All right.
It's a killer snowman. Yeah, I used to work at a video chain store, and I got that, and I would always recommend it to people. And it was always fun for them to come back and return it and either never get recommendations from me again or only get recommendations from me from there on
And there
out.
was no in between, was there?
There was no in between. It's like, okay, I
Fantastic.
could really find the disturbed people.
Mhm.
So,
The best kind of people.
absolutely.
Oh man. Well, that was probably the longest and most tangenty knitting section we've had. But hey,
What are you gonna do?
it was fun. We needed a little bit of extra time tonight. We are, of course, missing E and DB, and we're sad that they're not here,
Yeah.
but it's okay. It's okay. That just means that next time there's going to be even more fun because I made a map, and I'm super impressed with the map.
Map.
I'm very excited about it.
The map is cool.
I've shown a couple of people. I think that we're going to have some fun with it. So. And we're going to have fun playing with it in Tabula Sono, too. So.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But
I
this
am
also-
trying to buy a copy of this movie.
Excellent.
Well, of this musical.
I'm so excited to hear.
Is there actually like a film recording of it, or is it the?
Well, there are some recordings of it on the Thanksgiving website, and also there are links to the studio cast recording of Thanksgiving the musical, and it has been performed places for real.
Wow.
Yep.
I am very like not up on musical theater stuff. So I really shouldn't be surprised that there's a lot of stuff that I don't know, but sometimes I'm just astonished by like the depths of things that I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's okay. This is probably one that it's okay you don't know about.
Yeah. It's a little niche.
I'm just saying.
Just a teeny bit,
just a bit.
teeniest bit niche.
Well, just a reminder to everyone that we do have our new featured friend, Fantasy Fiber. That's a lot of F's. Fantasy Fiber Arts, who sells
Yeah.
through Farmhouse Fibers, our featured friend.
Our fantastic friends.
Yes. So check her out. She does have Fantasy Fiber Arts is the Instagram, and you can actually see the latest color that she put out, which is Green Dragon Inn, and it's really pretty. I'm teaching a class on Saturday, so I may pick up a skein of Green Dragon Inn. Just saying. And if you check out, I want to say it's myshopify.farmhousefibers.com. Farmhouse Fibers is the yarn shop that carries Fantasy Fiber Arts yarn, and they have a Shopify. So it's whatever the Shopify standard address is for Farmhouse Fibers.
You're gonna drop links in all the places,
Yes,
right?
I will put links in places. It's just I didn't have that on our screen anywhere, but it'll be.
Sure.
I'll put it on our Instagram. I'll put it on our Twitter. I'll put it in our Discord, and check that out. Because I'm going to be casting this on for next week. 2 weeks from now. I don't know what I'm going to make yet.
You have talked about making this pattern with that.
I have.
It would be
Well,
very
wait.
pretty.
What weight yarn is it?
It is fingering. It is 400 yards. It's an 80/20 superwash merino nylon.
I'll be excited to see what you choose.
Mm-hmm.
I might do a shawl. I'm a
Ooh,
big
that'd be
fan of
really
shawls.
pretty.
I don't know. It's so soft too.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll just wear it as a hank of yarn. That's an option too.
Just untwist it,
Just
put the whole thing
untwist it.
around your neck.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot easier to wear when you make it into something.
Yeah, that's true. I could do
Again
like
with the logic.
a hat and glove set.
Ooh.
See, the thing is, I make a lot of hats, but I don't wear them.
Mm.
I gotta fix that. Anyway, I think that's probably about it for the night. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with us as we talked knitting and books and movies and tools and
Water fleas. or-
water fleas.
wha-
Yep. All the fun stuff that we've talked about tonight. It was lovely seeing everyone. And let me just make sure I've got everything here. Yeah, I think we're good. So we will be back in 2 weeks' time, and we will talk about more knitting. Tiana might be done with that scarf.
If I'm not done with this scarf by then, something's gone wrong.
Well, then let's hope that you're done with it so that nothing has gone wrong. Maybe you'll
And
even
we can
have it
hear-
blocked.
And we can hear blocking experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did put in an order for children's mats and stainless steel T-pins.
Yay! Excellent.
So we'll see how that goes.
It'll be fantastic. We can always video chat if you need more support for that. So.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time.
Bye, everyone.
Be good.